Hey yo! So what's the deal with Illaoi? Before we get started, just want to let you guys know this video was sponsored by my caffeine-fueled all-nighter after a long work week. If you guys end up enjoying the video, then before you click off and continue your journey through the wild wasteland that is YouTube, maybe consider subscribing. I'm doing my best to bring you content on a regular basis that I think you can find some value in, and it would mean the world to me if you did. Now, Illaoi is one of the most broken, useless champions that League has ever put out. Now I can hear you clacking away at your keyboards now, but Bear, how can a champ be both broken and useless? Well, my little bear cub, that is really quite simple. You see, Illaoi becomes useless as you climb the ranks of Illaoi Hell and your role opponent learns to walk away. You see, Illaoi excels in the close-up, dirty, down to the skin of your teeth, last-minute type of all-in fight. She likes extended trades, she likes short trades, she likes Braum, she really doesn't call much. But what her kit is designed to do is set up the fight on her terms. She fights under the tentacles, she pulls your soul, she smacks, and that's about it. The problem arises in that whereas champions like Warwick and Aatrox are stat checks that you don't really outplay, you just kind of have to outsmash, Illaoi is a knowledge check champion, as my duo Q jungler puts it. If you don't know how to fight Illaoi, you lose. If you know how to fight Illaoi, you win. It's as simple and heartbreaking as that. Illaoi comes from a time that outplaying someone wasn't really a thing. You used a rotation of your cooldowns, then autoed, and then went for another round. As an older champion, her kit is not outlined with 4 dashes, and AoE executes 6 pokes, 13 passes, an experience boost to being in solo lane, a global blind, etc. She just spawns a tentacle every few seconds and smacks you with it. So now that we know who Illaoi is, why Illaoi? You see, an Illaoi locked in on the enemy's team, that kind of tells you a couple of things. First of all, you know that I'm not the only fan of Toshio Maeda that plays League. You also know that their more than likely top laner has some issues and trauma. First things first, they probably have issues being alone. Separation anxiety much? When you play Illaoi, you're never in lane alone. You're always 13 seconds away from spawning a close friend that would literally die for you if you asked. Now that's the kind of reliability you can count on. Junglers, that was a shot at you. Also, you know that Illaoi is going to be glued to that lane for the first 14 minutes or so. Roams are going to be rare, but most importantly, you know that if you see the enemy team lock in an Illaoi, that the enemy jungler is going to be playing for mid and bot and letting top do their thing. First and foremost, Illaoi is a trauma pick for top laners and sometimes mid laners who have been ganked one too many times. We've all been there, playing Mundo, running it up top, smack a couple of Qs in the Garen's face, maybe throwing an E, and then BAM! Vi jumps out of the bush and scares the bejesus out of you. So you get under tower, you back, you grab some items, TP back to lane, start CSing, throw a few Qs at the Garen, and then BAM! Vi's back. Yeah, Illaoi shuts that down like it's 3 a.m. on a Saturday morning and the bartender just last called for the night. Illaoi's passive literally sits there and dares you to fuck around and find out. She's never alone, no matter where she goes, and is only one button press away from reversing that gank, grabbing a double and then some tower plates for good measure, while you and Garen stare at the black and white screens and asking each other if it was worth it or not. Simultaneously, the Illaoi's jungler is eating the heck out of bot lane and grabbing Dragon and dropping Rift mid. The biggest deal about Illaoi, don't gank her, especially post 6, because if you do, you're getting eaten, or your laner is, or both. Just don't try it. Let your top laner know it's called the island for a reason and focus on mid and bot. C'est la vie, such is life. If the top laner doesn't DC before 14 minutes, you'll see him on the other side. The next most important deal with Illaoi is her poke. Her poke isn't a tiny little poke that you think it is. Level 1 E has less feeling in it than your parents' marriage after 10 years. But it's okay. When the kids move out, they'll find themselves again. Illaoi wants to land an E, and if she does, she's going to smack the E with her W, and if you get close, she's going to smack it with a Q and then a W. Why is she doing this? Well, at level 1, it doesn't hurt. Well. My friend, the reasons are more nefarious than you think. You see, when she E's you, she tethers your soul in place, usually in front of a tentacle. The said tentacle will then slam, It will also slam every time Illaoi uses her W to smack the soul. All damage done to the soul transfers a portion of the damage to you, usually around 60% of said damage. Inefficient, right? You're wrong. This is the single biggest identity to Illaoi herself. You see, the E is where her passive becomes scary. It's what keeps junglers awake at night. It's what fiddlesticks are most afraid of in this world. If Illaoi takes down the soul, you'll then be slowed by a significant amount and start spawning tentacles on your location for the next 7 seconds. And these tentacles aren't the innocent little tentacles Illaoi spawns that just sit there unless she does something. No, these tentacles have beef with you. They start spawning and slamming around you like it's wrestling practice, and your coach's biggest credentials that he once saw Hulk Hogan wrestle before he was an actor. Oh, and by the time you stop spawning tentacles, Illaoi's cooldown on her E is up and she can do it again. And since the good Illaoi's Start Corrupting potion, she'll have the mana to keep railing you until at least the 10-minute mark. I hope you can juke consistently enough to not show any weakness or let the Illaoi smell that fear. Now I can hear your desperate pleas for help already. Bear, now that the soul's tethered, what do we do? Well, rule number 1 is don't walk away. Unless you can't fight her. If you're another bruiser, like Garen or Darius or Aatrox or sometimes Riven, and you're all less than level 6, fight her off the soul. Kill the tentacles when they're spawned while you're CSing, so when she tethers your soul, you fight her off of it. It's that simple. If you can't do that, then walk away like it's your ex-girlfriend who just hit you up for the first time in 6 months. We don't want that toxic BS here. Absolutely be careful of where you position yourself while fighting with your soul out. If Illaoi can hit both you and the spirit with the same ability cast, it will do 160% damage. It adds up. But this is the foundation. This is the cornerstone, if you will, of her combo. She'll almost always start with an E if she intends to trade with you or if her jungler shows up for a gank. Now that brings us to the next deal with Illaoi. Her Q is the thing she probably started to help with wave clear. It's the AoE in a straight line tentacle slam that comes out of the idol she carries. There are 2 camps on this, and which one you subscribe to is going to depend on 2 factors. Illaoi will either Q max or E max, and if the Illaoi can land her E's on you, she's going to E max. If she can't, she will Q max. So this decision depends on her skill with the E as well as your skill with juking it. Both have their place. As far as which one to max first, personally, I think it's more common to see an E max. It allows you to transfer more of the damage and lowers the cooldown on her E, allowing her to almost perma-CC you and keep the tentacles spawning all while you're poking you down and laying enough traps in lane that you would think it was a Tom and Jerry cartoon set up specifically for your jungler. The Q-Max allows her to do more damage as it scales with level. It's mainly for the laners who hide behind their minions. Well, since Illaoi's E doesn't go through the minions, but her Q smacks every gosh damn living being between her and you if you're close enough. Now here's something else to consider. Illaoi's W is an empowered auto attack that gives her a short little dash, similar to Pantheon's W, but what makes this Illaoi's bread and butter is that the synergies it plays with her E and passive. You see, Illaoi's passive spawns a tentacle every so often, and the tentacles that slam heal her for a certain amount. But her W makes those tentacles do something amazing. It makes them slam. Now, not just one tentacle, but every tentacle in range of Illaoi's target will slam, and they will slam every single time she presses W. That's it, right? No. It does max health damage, so it works very well with Divine Surrender. Also, another thing, Illaoi is looking to trade with the EW Auto, Q Auto W combo that's infamous for turning top laners into mid mains. Illaoi's W is the glue that holds the whole science project together, then her R, her ultimate, is the coat of paint that makes it look pretty. Illaoi's ult is the off switch for team fights, jungle ganks diving under your towers, diving under our towers, turning Baron and Dragon pits into pits of death and despair. Her ult does her whole kit all over again. It's amazing, it's beautiful, it's a work of art. You see her ult spawns a tentacle for every single enemy in range of Illaoi when she presses R. Spirits count, so she can spawn a total of 6 tentacles in a 5-man ult if she presses E first, and then she starts pressing W because CD was lowered when she pressed R. Run, just run. You don't fight here, you don't think about here, you don't want to be here. You're getting smacked by 6 tentacles that are all proccing Sunder and getting hit with her W, doing max health damage Well, then the color shuts off on your screen. Just remember that it's not your vision that's slipping, it's your chances of winning this game. Your eyes and monitor are fine. The biggest reason why you don't fight Illaoi and her ult is because of the passive of her tentacles healing her every time they slam, as well as the sheer damage she'll be spitting in your face. And she's also likely to have an item like Steric's Gauge or Death's Dance. She'll out-sustain anything sub-level 16. So this brings me to the biggest point I made in the opening argument. How to counter Illaoi 100% of the time. Just don't play her BS game. You want to CS? You want to CS under tower if you have to. Don't feed her kills. Don't let your jungler feed her kills. And if when she grabs you with E or ult you, just walk away. Don't fight her where she wants to fight you. You fight her where you want to fight. You're the king. Make your own decisions. Now, if you're an Illaoi main simply looking for ways or guides to take Illaoi past gold 1, but have run into the I know what Illaoi does wall, well then listen close. Now, if you know me, which I hope you do because we're friends, I'm all for taking champions in unconventional roles. Illaoi mid works. The mid lane doesn't know what she does yet. Yeah. But what about Illaoi support? Hold on, my big brain mans, relax. The world isn't ready for your intellect yet. Now, if you made it this far in the video, I love you. I hope you have a great day, and remember, League of Legends random quote of the week. Those talking out their ass get an ass whipping. Thank you, Jinx, from that ARAM 2 days ago. I love you.